Hello, good morning, Mr. Lopez.
Good morning.
Today?
Good, good.
Okay, so let's see. So I wanted to review the lab work from yesterday. It's just consultation. I have some handouts for you here.
Thank you.
Okay, so based on the lab works we got yesterday, your red blood count was a little low, along with your iron levels and ferritin, which is a protein. Also, on the stool sample we saw some traces of blood.
Blood. What does that mean?
Okay, so you need iron in order for a red blood cell to work. A red blood cell, what it is or what it does, it carries oxygen, and oxygen is essential for all body functions. So without oxygen, basically there's no life, and one form of losing iron is bleeding, along with nutrition. So this is also known as iron deficiency anemia.
And why am I bleeding though?
Okay, well, based on yesterday's conversation, I do recall that you mentioned that you drink 8 12-ounce cans of beer a day, basically 5 days a week. And also, if I recall correctly, you told me you only eat once a day. Is that correct?
Yeah, I usually eat once a day, but does drinking really cause for me to bleed?
Okay, so let me explain. So when you drink too much, what happens is the actual alcohol irritates the skin. Now this irritation could cause ulceration in the stomach or in some parts of the in your intestinal tract. So this ulceration can cause bleeding. This bleeding can either be slowly or it could be a little faster. This you'll see the rates on the bleeding on the blood levels. At this point, based on your the tracings on your stool sample, it was very minimal. There wasn't any obvious bleedings, and your blood count was very low. It was a little low, but not very too concerning at this point.
Okay.
But we have to keep in mind also iron is consumed, and since you only eat once a day, this contributes further to the deficiency of this anemia. This might also explain why you've been feeling tired lately, and your heart was a little elevated today and yesterday as well.
Yes.
And that's why you were mentioning that you would feel a little cool hands, and your skin is a little pale. So that might explain the iron deficiency.
Okay. Okay. That helped me understand better why I have the symptoms. But then, what do I do next?
Okay, so let me explain. This is going to be our plan. So first, we're going to start you on oral iron supplementation.
Okay.
We're going to do the 300 milligrams for sulfate for 3 months. Usually we recheck after 3 months. But this is once the bleeding or the source of bleeding has stopped. That means I'm going to need to refer you to a gastroenterologist. That's a stomach specialist that's going to help me. That's going to help us see if the source of bleeding or if there's a active bleeding ulcer or not. Once he establishes that and we're able to stop the source of bleeding, that's when we're going to do 3 months and then repeat your blood work. Also, I would like to remind you that with this iron pill, it can cause constipation. In order to reduce the constipation, we need to be active as much as we can based on your limitations.
Okay.
And good water consumption. And this also brings me to your nutrition. We're going to have to eat more than once a day and get good source of iron, which is basically red meats, fish, and green leafy vegetables.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, and one more thing, like I mentioned, I want to get you with that gastroenterologist as soon as I can so we could see what the source of bleeding.
Okay, you let me know or when the appointment is, and I'll go. One question though, I have some friends that have the same thing, or I've heard that anemia, or sometimes they need blood. Would I need blood transfusion?
That's a good question. Well, at this point, your blood levels are not that low that require blood, and there's no active sign of bleeding. There was only traces. But we do have to be on the lookout for any nausea or vomiting with active blood or anything that looks like coffee, or if your stool is soft, very foul smelling, and looks very dark.
Okay.
Also, any obvious sign of bleeding. But in order to keep a close eye on it, I want to see you in 2 weeks. We're going to get some blood drawing, and we're going to compare readings. I'm going to try to get that appointment with the GI specialist as soon as we can. Any other questions?
No, thank you very much for the
Okay, we'll
information.
see you in 2
Thank you.
weeks. Thank you.